Hello, and welcome back to the Mayor's Update. We are live once again each week. And of course, this is like a forum. So if you have any questions, comments, let us know and let's get those answered. So
Yes.
Mayor Joe, how are you doing this week?
That's been great. And we've had a heavy snowfall on Monday. The city recovered from it extremely well. We're going to talk a lot about that tonight about what causes streets to be plowed and when and in what order. But we beat all of the time zones we're supposed to meet, and some odd problems. But I think I made a joke at council this week. The definition of a nanosecond.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the amount of time between when it starts snowing and the mayor gets the first "my road isn't plowed" email. So this week,
is that Webster's or Oxford or both?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look it up. Yeah, look, it's been a great week, and not for the most part, but almost unanimously, the citizens of St. Thomas not only worked together to solve a snowfall. We hadn't had many so far this year, but we also most of them were quite positive and about their neighbors, about the snowplow system, and about just about everything else. So perfect, right?
Absolutely.
So it was a good week that way. I even met more of my own neighbors, right? I'm out there with a shovel and my neighbor kind of across the cul-de-sac. Yes, we're one of the last streets plowed because we are a cul-de-sac. Had his snowblower came over and helped clear the end of my driveway, and we had a great chat. And I might have given him a few free hamburgers. And I have a shared driveway with the house beside me. So that fellow's out with his shovel also. And we were quite smiley about being able to get someone to help us with the end of it. It was perfect. So
very cool. We should give a shout out to the fellow on Myrtle who's plowing or snow blowing everyone's driveways, because I was seeing that on St. Thomas Happenings. He was saying, hey, you know what? There's this angel, this snow angel that's out there and comes along and clears everyone's driveways. So maybe that's a good segue into the Snow Angels program.
Well, agreed. Let's do that. This we found, and we've talked about it on here before. If you want to be a snow angel, please just call into City Hall, and we'll get you a someone who needs your help, especially after a snow like we just had. It may only be their sidewalk, but so they can get out of their house, and we'll find someone in the neighborhood where you live. And we found some fantastic group snow angels, whole families, right? Who are the snow angel to a house on their street or to 2 or 3 of the houses on their street. What a neat idea. Maybe you can't be there every day. And you're not required to be your snow angel before it stops snowing and by a certain time of the morning, not like our snowplow operators, but when you can, as soon as you can, helping somebody be able to be living in their own home still and getting out. So, of course, whenever we get a snowfall like this, we had 2 or 3 more calls for snow angels, for people asking, can I get a snow angel? I just heard about this program. And so we did some matching up, but we're still always a little short. We also have some people who take on 2 or 3 snow angel jobs, and we'd be happy to take 1 or 2 of them away if you'd like to also work on it. It's incredible the number of adults we have. It's almost 100%. You would think with the high school volunteer system and some of the other youth programs, we would have more from them. So that's the mayor asking. Please. I also know, and I saw it even in my own neighborhood, people out helping people with shoveling and maybe making a couple of dollars. You can't expect in the Snow Angel program you'll be paid, but boy, I just remember Dad wouldn't let us accept any money for shoveling people's driveways, but boy, I had cookies year round from some of the people who I helped. So I'm not promising the cookies, but you can imagine. But these are the things that really show community, though. 3 or 4 people who really almost don't have time for each other stand at the end of a driveway, having a great conversation about Canada and how we live with the snow, and it really was quite good. So
that's a really good point. Like what I was looking at the comments on St. Thomas Happenings, I was like, everything's positive about this person. There's no negatives. I'm like, isn't it nice to see something on St. Thomas Happenings where they're just like, it's all just positive?
Well,
in the world right now.
Somebody asked on there today. Again, you and I both know we talk a little bit about that Facebook page and how sometimes it's not the most fulfilling place to be. Could use a little more positivity from time to time. But somebody said, "Hey, hey, folks, grade the snowplow system in St. Thomas," and 19 out of 19 were positive responses when I left that page today. So I'm sure that we can find some that aren't. But way to go! We got people out there working hard and doing a good job. Talk about it. You visit a restaurant you really like. Talk about it. You shop local and you find what you want. Talk about it. It doesn't always have to be who didn't do something right or the negative piece. It can be the positive piece a lot. So,
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about what positive things were happening at council this week.
Well, I've got a whole list of council stuff. So let's go to it. We of course passed the okaying bylaw for that outdoor rink that we talked about last week, because we knew the council agenda had already come out. So yes, and we also directed the director of parks and the director of engineer, if possible, to help us with a little bit of plowing, sidewalk plowing and stuff, to get people's access to it pretty well too. So we know that's going to happen. We talked about taxi tariffs this week. For most of you that you may not know this, but the bylaw in our community for a lot of years where the city council has to approve any increase in taxi rates. And we had a good discussion about it Monday night at council, but my discussion is I'm not sure we should be telling any business what their prices can be. That's up to the customer to tell them whether the prices are high or low. And so we said yes to the current price increase. I think it has to come back to council to change the bylaw to make that happen, but we will. They've asked for a price increase, the two taxi companies in town. And we continue to talk about, hey, can we give more freedom? Are we regulating unnecessarily our taxi industry? And we're going to have more conversations on that. The Community Recycling Center came up with a fairly good continuous improvement plan last year. Things we could do different at the recycling center, and we think they've hit it well. So coming soon, there'll be a small kiosk as you pull in, where you will then, if you don't have to go to the scale, you'll be directed how to get to where you want to go. If you're just dropping cardboard, you're just dropping yard waste, and small amounts, if it's just a standard load, we'll collect right there too. The bottleneck seems to be when things have to be weighed and go over the scale. You have to weigh your car before you go. You go dump the stuff off. So we're coming up with some standard rates for whether it's what would be considered yard waste or regular trash or paints and chemicals and those types of things. And so I think you're going to like it. I think it's going to make the whole system run faster and better by us applying one person in the busiest hours in a little kiosk as you pull in. So I'm really, really looking forward to it.
That makes sense. In terms of electronic waste, like Jess and I just got rid of a television. Right. And one of the places you can take a television, even if it's older, is you can take it to the restore. So you don't necessarily have to go to the dump or like the recycling center. You can take it to the restore, and then they'll either like sell it there or they'll recycle it.
Right. And on the recycling on the electronics, we both know that the Steam Center also is doing that with computers and printers and other things to help people to rebuild computers. Maybe not brand new, but a computer in a house that doesn't have one is brand new. And so certainly as we've been online learning and other things, people have learned, well, we need a second computer. Can we get how do we get that? And so those of us recycling like TVs, computers the same way, get them to some place where it's going to go back to help someone else. That's a great point. That's really the right way. So
the teen center, and with online learning, kids need a second computer just to do the online learning. Take it to the teen center, they'll get you fitted out.
Yeah, we'll make sure it happens. And a lot of the computer stores in town, I know Sandy at
CTP Computers.
CTP. I have to get the initials in my head. Helps a lot too. With helping fix computers for people who really need that to happen.
If anyone tonight knows what CTP computers stand for right now, I'll give you an 8x8 jumbo print of a painting that I did. If you can say in the comments tonight what CTP computers stand for.
Wow. Prizes on Mayor's Update. I don't know.
There
We'll
you
have
go.
to take that to the lobbying commissioner. I don't know if we're allowed to give things away.
We're giving away information. Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, we can give more information always. Yeah. So yes. And somebody is saying in the comments we should give more freedom to the taxi cab services, and good decision on the fares. Yes, would love to make it. Look at you all know I run a restaurant in town, and I sure don't want the city council telling me when I can raise the price of a hamburger. I would like our cab companies to have the same freedom. So that's part of what that was about. Let me just see what else is on here. We have you all know we have our new city manager. And Wendell is retiring, but they're both working together. And one of the things we talked about was Sandra Daters-Bear, our new city manager, also serves on AMO and Roma, two associations of municipalities. So we gave her permission to do that. Please do. We think that's an excellent thing for our city manager to be involved in. We'll hear about things maybe before others. What else have we got? We're a growing city. We talk about how smart growing we are, but we're also held up with a few kind of older bylaws. And one of the ones we kind of had to fix on Monday night was ensuring that all the names of all the streets are in the parking bylaw, so that it's official. We can actually ticket people or not ticket people, whatever it needs to be. So that got passed. Then there was 4 or 5 other bylaws that were all about housing. Removing the holding symbol on a subdivision that was out there. Another one removing a holding symbol. When that happens, when we remove a holding symbol, it means they can go ahead and go forward and start the process of laying out the streets and such. So, again, removing certain lands from part lot control, which again is another step in the building process. So we're continuing to move our builders and housing as fast as we possibly can. And as you see, driving around town, a lot more multi-unit stuff too. We also passed a bylaw on Monday night having to do with the community improvement plan. The community improvement plan is a fund that we use to ask people to fix the fronts of their buildings or turn certain spaces into apartments. And we'll contribute certain amounts of or delay certain amounts of taxes that have to be paid on those buildings. So for a building at 83 Alexandria, the owner there was able to take advantage of the CIP plan. We passed all that. Again, another piece of housing. The more and more we can do these, continue to turn either single family homes into homes with apartments, or our downtown and the apartments above, all of those things making our city a little better. That's most of what happened at council on Monday night. We talked about the snow angels. I'd like to go in while we're still on a little bit of snow and ice about the danger of thin ice. And we keep talking about it, right? And we need to. Our fire department.
I saw that post.
It was
they posted it at like 10 or 11 p.m.
Yeah, it was great.
Which right? I feel like they must have they just got back after pulling someone out of Lake Margaret, and we're like, okay, we're just putting this up now,
or a call for danger. But it's great that they're doing it too, and we'll all share it, and we put it out there. A lot of people liked it and shared it. Look, and it's a little warmer out again today. Got above freezing today. Things were melting, right? Please don't go out on ice by yourself. Certainly not ice that is deeper than you. We'll do our best to do some outdoor skating rinks. We'll continue to move on. Love that the one that the Doug Terry group and Impressions Printing and that group is going to do. And now we're quickly looking for where else can we do those. But please be careful. And the other thing tonight about ice, about not falling through ice, but falling on ice.
Yeah.
We got a really good job, and most people did a great job of shoveling their own sidewalk, as we ask you to do. Please go out and help where you can, or a snow angel to do it for you. But it is immediately now dropping very quickly in temperature. So there's some standing water and some slippiness out there on perfectly plowed and shoveled sidewalks, and maybe not them too. So be very careful. It's going to get a quick freeze tonight. We'll try and get salt and sand on them overnight and through tomorrow. But please be careful out there as in this January in Canada, temperatures go up and down. And so what looks perfectly clear may be a little slippery under just a little bit of snow. So be good with that. Thanks. All right.
Absolutely. What would you say about ice fishing? I think you mentioned it last week. I think you had those comments about it.
Look, personally, I'm not certain we need to have ice fishing. We weakened the ice when we drill big holes in it. Yeah. The skating for recreation, we allowed Lake Margaret to be opened up from a recreational point of view. I know will be argued whether ice fishing is a recreational use. It probably is, but not like getting your kids out for a skate and some other things. So, look, I'd rather we weren't drilling great big holes in a pond of ice that we're asking people to skate on. So that would be a better way to put it. Be very, very careful. Go well away from the houses because we're not allowed to fish on that side. Go well away from where others are. But I would just say, hey, put on some skates and go play a little shinny.
What I heard after you mentioned it last week is that I was talking to one of my friends, and they were saying that they were out on Lake Margaret, and there were people that were ice fishing, and they would drill a hole, and they'd be there for like 15 minutes, and they'd move somewhere else and drill another hole in the ice, and just keep moving around. I'm like, that's not a good idea.
Well,
that's my opinion.
I don't think it's a good idea at all. But doing what you've just said is ridiculously and not community minded. Right?
Yeah. Right? You imagine like you're going along, then you're like, whoop, right through the hole into the ice, or your kid does.
Yeah.
Not great.
Great. And if we're a long way away, I don't know, maybe, but I'm saying,
are you spray painting red around it? And then what if it it snows and it gets
not likely, Graydon. And that's the look, I'm not saying, you're wrong. I'm saying you're not community minded. That may be the best way to put it.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
As a politician, that's a very good.
Wasn't it good? I thought it was good.
I appreciate that.
Did anybody write that down? Yeah, no. Great. And there anyway. Well, another announcement made yesterday on provincial gas tax funding. Every year, some of the money collected on gas taxes in the province. I'll explain the federal government afterwards, but in the province goes directly to communities with transit systems. So those pumping gas into their car, paying taxes for that gas, then the province kind of divvies that up by roads used and the number of people in a community. And so Jeff Urick yesterday announced, I think it's about $423,000 worth of provincial gas tax money to us, a little increase over last year. That's great. That goes to our transit system to help make it as good as we can. But before you think that's a windfall, and we're going to do all sorts of neat things, costs about $1.9 million to run our transit system, and about $8, including that gas tax, $423,000, and fares covers about $800,000 of the cost. So about half of the cost of running our transit system is covered by grants from the provincial government and the people who buy bus passes or pay fares or buy advertisement on our bus stops or on our buses. The rest of it is paid for by the rest of the city. So great windfall for us. Love having the money. Thank you, province, for helping us with our transit system. All right. And we'll continue to try and improve it as much as we possibly can. But if the shortfall is already 100%, we first of all, we need it to improve for us to make improvements to our transit system even more. So that's one other piece. Look, we're still seeing a lot of somewhat busyness. That'd be a better way to put it. I know we're in still a kind of a lockdown with some of our favorite restaurants and breweries closed.
Yeah. We got our two breweries in St. Thomas represented here tonight.
Rail City on the left and Caps Off on the right. And a number of other things where it's still very difficult for the owners of those businesses. So I wanted to remind you again about shopping local, about making sure don't make that drive somewhere else. And maybe the big box store can do without you buying your oatmeal there this week. Go to one of the smaller stores, and we've got some great stores in our community to shop at. So I recognize an awful lot of the businesses in town may be national in scope, but they're usually owned by somebody locally who sponsors your hockey team and other things. So think of that when you're doing it too. Green, I wanted to just talk a little bit about the method of plowing snows in our community. If you don't mind me sharing how we get that.
Let's do it.
First,
people need to know.
It's all regulated by the province as to when you have to and what roads are first and that type of thing. But I'm going to give you the mayor's simple version. Busy streets. So Talbot, Burwell, Fairview, South Edgeware, so busy streets that also have transit on them and are near the hospital or near a fire station, and they are likely to get shoveled first, to be plowed first. And often. They don't just get plowed once and then they're done. The next set of streets, the ones with schools on them, the ones with that aren't as busy as those main streets I mentioned, but the next level, the connector streets for others, have the next level of priority, and there's certain times that they have to be reacted to, and then taking it all the way down to the base street, my little cul-de-sac or crescents in some of the other subdivisions, newer subdivisions in town. Really, the city has 24 hours with which to clear their snow so that we can make sure we get the others done right. Now, it didn't take that long this time. Almost all streets were done before that. Sidewalks fall in about a 24-hour period following that, although our sidewalk plows were again finished in under a day.
So you're saying that basically you could do the plowing and then the sidewalks would be plowed like the next day, and technically that would meet the mandate.
Would meet the mandate, certainly, because we're asking you as homeowners or taxpayers in our community to please go try and clear the walkways, the sidewalks on your own too, right? We also recognize that, and this is one I've heard a couple times since Monday. Well, I just finished my driveway. The snowplow came and I had to go back out and do the driveway. All right. So I cleared the end of the driveway, and then he comes along and plows again, and I got to clear the sidewalk. Right. Yeah. So you can see why even we may wait for that 12-hour, 18-hour, 24-hour period so that we're not filling it back in. Right. We're trying to let people get it in a way. Right. And as I said, most people are very, very pleased with the plow service. It is there will 44,000 people thereabouts living in St. Thomas. That's about 20,000 homes thereabouts, and most of them single family homes. And the trouble, I had to be out Monday. I was going to get my booster shot on Monday, and so I waited a bit till it stopped snowing, and then went out with my shovel, and that's when I met all my neighbors. And then I got in the car, and the minute I got off my cul-de-sac and onto the next major road, perfectly plowed, wet pavement, right? And then had no trouble at all getting to where I was going till I got to the parking lot of the place I was going to get, and it wasn't as well done. But then once you get cars out on the road, it's even harder. That snowfall really started about 6 o'clock in the morning and ended at about 11 o'clock in the morning. But in that time, it dumped a lot of snow more than once. So sometimes we have to go back and clean up something we've done. It's not always a direct route, but we do try to do those busier streets first. And sometimes you'll see a street that isn't all that busy, and we use it to connect to another. And so it got done as somebody was heading somewhere else. Oh, well, I saw this street done and my street wasn't done yet. Do I not pay enough taxes?
People got very bent out of shape about that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Right. But sometimes it's on the way to somewhere else, or sometimes it's on the route of that truck.
No. I bet somebody paid somebody some money to just make sure.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm kidding. Well, I'm saying, don't think my own neighbors didn't say, well, aren't you the mayor? Can't we get plowed earlier than this?
Right.
They said, no, likely later. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Right? And so it does work. I just wanted to, take it easy. If it's 48 hours after a storm and you're on one of the smaller streets and you haven't been plowed, by all means, get onto the customer service system and say, this, right?
Yeah.
The other one I get a lot of, I saw the sidewalk plow driving down the road 2 or 3 times. And why doesn't he just go on the sidewalk? I'm here to tell you, not every sidewalk plow you see in town belongs to the city of St. Thomas. Many of them are privately owned and go do parking lots and sidewalks around other businesses and other stuff. And so, okay, you're just not, I had 2 messages. Well, your sidewalk plow is driving around not doing anything. Okay, thank you. Right. Make sure it's a city of St. Thomas plow. And if you're really worried about it, go ahead and call on to customer service. We GPS all of our trucks and our sidewalk plows, so we'd be able to check. But mostly it's show a little patience, right? And they'll be back around. And it's okay if you saw one driving down the street if your sidewalk's already been done. So.
And we've got a comment about that. Matt Sharp is saying he was very happy with the plow service this time. Before Mondays, the Monday workday was done. My dead end street had been cleared.
Yeah, and thank you, Matt. And I've been saying nothing but great things about our snowplow operators and sidewalk plow operators too. But sometimes a snowfall that falls only overnight, and we can get up early and get the plows out there and get it started and and it's way better. This happens to be one that actually most of the snow fell during the morning drive, right? And and it also lets me smile a little because we can look at some of the other cities east of us. One great big one, I forget the name of it, doing a terrible job, but they're just not used to it either. So thank you to our snowplow operators. Thank you to everybody who does the planning for it. And certainly thank you to the citizens of St. Thomas for being kind and generous to your neighbors and kind and generous to the city employees.
Absolutely. We got another positive comment from Faye Gallagher. Yes, very impressed and was so surprised to see the sidewalk cleared. Way ahead of what I would have thought. And then we've also got a comment about a ghost. And Paul Jenkins wants to know if anybody else is worried about the ghost that opened Mayor Joe's door.
Yeah, well, JoJo loves it. She hears me talking in here, and she thinks I'm calling her, of course. JoJo is the wonder dog, that rescue dog that we have. And we talked a bit about her at council this week, too, because, as you know, last week we decided we will not be selling dog tags, maybe the best way to put it here in St. Thomas.
For like a year or so.
Well, you had to renew it every year, but but almost everybody has their dog microchipped now. And so when JoJo got out this summer, they called us within half an hour of, hey, would your dog's over here with us and she's licking us to death. Could you come get her? They even brought her back, I think. But look, so we just think in the city of St. Thomas, some of this bureaucracy is not needed. But that was JoJo coming in the room to sit here with me. I sometimes snack when I'm on my computer, so she comes to check on me for that too. Sugar snap peas tonight, JoJo. You're not going to like them. Yeah. And somebody asks, I hope that all dogs and cats get chipped. It's one of the things we now ask of our animal control people. When we get a dog that we're going to offer out, that is done before. So we're hoping almost everybody, if the dog isn't chipped, if you buy it from us as a rescue dog, then it would be. But ask if you're getting a pet, is it chipped so we can do it. So. Perfect. And Paul's right. Central Elgin made the same decision also. Yep. It's just getting to be, hey guys, let's remember we're 2022 now. We're modern times and we're doing modern things. So where we can do modern times and modern things and save taxpayers money and effort, let's do it. It's a great thing if we can complement that. I haven't been following all the questions, great, and some of them have gone away. So
I've got them covered. We've gone through them all.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I'm still waiting for the person who knows the answer to what CGP computer stands for.
What?
8x8 print of Jumbo.
Yes. And if you've seen Graydon's pictures, you want it. You want this. You really want this. All right. So anybody got any? I'm still watching for the answer too. All right.
We've got compliments.
Yeah. The other thing I've been doing, Graydon, this week is oftentimes when I'm in a discussion on one of our famous Facebook sites or anywhere in social media, been reminding them, You want to ask that question? Come on, Mayor's Update, and ask the question. Come on up and let's share it with everybody we can. So I think twice this week I reminded them that you and I would be on Wednesday night at 7:30. If they have questions, come and ask it again, because if they had it, maybe somebody else would want to do it also. So would want to know the information. So
this is it. This is our community forum.
Right.
You have a question, we've got the answers. Or if we don't, we'll go find them and then bring them back next week.
Right. And don't hesitate to leave us a question here. We'll answer it next week or before that if you have left us one. But, you know, as we always say, there's no stupid question. We'll help you decide why the city decided that. Computer programming technology. No.
Oh.
I don't think
it has nothing to do with computers.
Yeah, I don't think computers. The C is not computers, so it's a tough one. You and I asked. They won an award this year at the Small Business Awards, and we were both standing there, and we asked, "Hey, what the heck does this? What's the name of your company?" And we were both amazed at what the company was. Yes.
Yeah, and Sandy, just like an incredible individual, but it relates to something he did before he got into computers. Has nothing to do with computers. It
was the name of his company, and then he became good at computers. That's really how that one worked. Right? Hey, look, we don't have a winner tonight because we're going to go off the air soon. We'll come on next week. Do your research. Go visit Sandy. Buy a computer, a printer, or something else this week, and come on back. And hey, I'm going to tell you, the painting from Graydon Lang is worth more. So you want this, right?
I've got it saved here. I've done all these art prints over the holidays. It's been fantastic. So they're all sitting here. So I'm happy to share them with the people that watch Mayor's Update and do little quizzes like this.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I just saw a thing that it will be 9 degrees cooler in St. Thomas tomorrow than it was today or something. So it's getting quite cold out there tonight. So, and we love sharing with you, but if we've got no more questions, I guess we have to call it a night, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. And we should mention we have a great guest for next week.
Oh, yes. Incredible. Laurie Fitzgerald, the executive director of the In Out of the Cold group, the now called The Inn, the new shelter, which should open this week. And we recognize that's a bit of a lag time, but with some of the COVID and some of the goings on, some of the inspections that need to be done in order to open the building, but we hope it will be open. By the time we have Laurie on next week to have a conversation, all questions, all things you want to know about the Inn, the shelter in St. Thomas, the full daytime shelter in St. Thomas, and how we'll do it. So 7:30 every Wednesday. So starting 7:30 next Wednesday. If anybody who asks you about the shelter this week, when there's any noise about it opening, say, hey, the mayor's talking about that, and Laurie will be on Mayor's Update next Wednesday at 7:30. So,
and there are so many people, they have all these questions. They're like, what's happening with the new inn? How are you going to manage all the people? Who can go? Who can access it? How can they access, like all this stuff? We're going to answer all the questions, and please come in because you're going to have better questions than we have. If you join the conversation and share with us, and then we'll get all the answers, or maybe you've got comments or recommendations.
I get lots of comments about how well you do on Mayor's Update, but they say, Mayor Joe, will you just be quiet for a minute or two?
No, they don't.
So we're going to have some guests on so we get questions. Right? And Austin's right. He's put in here that, look, there's lots of questions asked about every minute on some of the St. Thomas Facebook or other social media sites. So we know there's people out there. We're on Facebook. Where are you? So come on.
Right here. This is on Facebook Live. Like you can join, you can ask it. And the one thing that I will say, and maybe I'll get in trouble for this, is like people ask questions, but they don't want the real answer. They want whatever fits their worldview or whatever it may be. And you're like, okay, we're going to give you the real answer. And we've done this before. We've given them the actual answer.
Well, that's not right.
It doesn't make for a good story. It's rather boring, and that's municipal politics. So welcome to the party.
Yeah. No, we had a lot. I had one of those this week too. We're talking again about busing people in from Sarnia, or that the mayor of St. Thomas went and bussed people in from other places.
Yeah, because you have time.
Well, I asked why would any mayor want to go gather more homeless into their community, and certainly but it's always, my mother's hairdresser's friend's uncle said he saw this happen. Yeah. Okay. If you could tell us when and where, we have cameras all on Talbot Street. We'd be able to see a bus, I would think, on those cameras, and we'd be able to tell. It's illegal to kidnap people and take them someplace else. So let's make sure. All right.
Yep. No, and as we said before, like if there's any truth to it, then yeah, of course it'll be handled. We've talked to the police chief about it, like all these different things. Like we just need proof. If this is actually happening, prove it. But I feel like it's kind of like the Loch Ness monster of St. Thomas.
Well, and it's not only whether it's true or not. It's if someone does arrive in St. Thomas, and where else would they go but to the inn or to the Grace Cafe or to one of the other places that all share with each other, and someone at one of those places that day would say, "Hey, you're new. Where are you from? How can we help you?" And sometimes it's, "Well, I came here from Toronto. Would you like to go home? Where is your family? Where's your support system?" And we certainly have handled it in one-off situations, got people back to where they wanted to be. So perfect.
Yep. 100%.
Please join us next Wednesday at 7:30 for Laurie Fitzgerald and us. And please share this with your friends. Please tell your friends that we'll do it. Even if you want to share tonight's live, right, after we're off the air, share it. Share it to your friendship group. There's people on there that didn't remember to sit down. I know it's not believable. There's people on there that did not sit down the night and watch Mayor's Update. They did something else instead.
This is shocking to me. Shocking to me, Mayor Joe. Like people do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I'll make fun of them if they're not here. No, so please help us get the word out. As Graydon says, a forum of civic communication, of civic information. Everything done at council this week, everything done that happened in the city this week, and as anything else comes up, ask us about it. If you don't know, well, what changes did you make at the recycling center? Well, I explained some of them, so that's great. But I'll explain more if you can be specific. We certainly will be happy to.
And then bring your opinions forward, and maybe something you say will happen to change policy, and we'll make our city better, our municipality better. That's what we're here for. Well,
we talked about the cabs tonight. 3 or 4 people said, "What a great idea! Why didn't we do it?" Okay, please ask us. If there's more things we can do, ask us. So, well, we won't lie to you. Sometimes it won't be the answer you're hoping for, but we won't lie to you. All right? Well, should we call it a night, Graydon, and move on
let's call it a night there, Joe. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make this conversation, this forum possible. Thanks to all of our viewers who are commenting. I was hoping for somebody to figure out what CTV computers meant so I could give you an art print. But yeah, we'll come up with another question for next week, and we'll see you with Laurie Fitzgerald.
Right. Perfect. And I was having a conversation with another one of our sponsors who's growing in our community enough to say, I need to grow. What can I do next? So isn't that great to hear? So
it's so good.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon, everyone. Thank you very much.